Okay, in this session, what I'm going to show you is the absolute necessity items that you're going to have to make a handmade net. First of all, we're going to look at the needle. I call it a needle, they call it a shuttle, and a mesh board. They call it different things. I call it a mesh board, they call it fingerboards, but nevertheless, one and the same. Those items, as you see, I have some extra things laid out here. When you finish the net, obviously a horn and a swivel goes in the top. We'll discuss that in much more detail later. For mine, I make all my own stuff. Okay, you gotta have a package of matches, a good sharp pair of scissors. Optional on the baby powder, that's for putting on your hands because it will cut. And most importantly, the ball of twine. I use the bonded nylon. It has a coating on it, the knots stay much tighter. Okay. All right, now it is time to start the actual construction of the net. And the first thing I'm going to do, put a little slip knot, and I'm going to put my twine on the needle. This is called the tongue. You just turn it from side to side. You go around the tongue, around the base, as you can see. Now what I'm going to do is going to continue on to start this net. I'm going to peel off some line. Now nylon, you have to burn it. You cannot, nylon will simply unravel. You see why I had the matches earlier. All right. You follow me, Brother Joe? And I double this. This is the actual line that will secure your net to the horn when you're finished. That's why I do it this way. They take and use wire and rings and different things. I don't know standing for that, but this is the way to do it. This is the way the Minorcans did it. This is the way I do it. Okay. All right. At this time, I'm gonna have to sit. I've made me a little. You have to have a chair without arms on it because obviously you're going to be moving around, tying the knots. We'll get some line off of the needle. And this is called the tail. This piece is going to be hanging down. You call it the tail. Now what I'm going to do is to start this thing. Now this first row that you put on is a double row actually. So it doesn't matter how large this is because it's going to follow suit. You say I just sent a simple overhand knot and you double tie it. Did you get that okay, Joe? Now, what we're going to do, I'm going to make what I call a 14 widening net. Basically, the early Minorcans made 21 widening nets, was an awful lot of webbing, kind of obsolete this day and time in a handmade net. Most of mine I make 16, but for this one I'm going to make a 14 because it's much faster for you to learn, much easier for you to learn, and much faster to make. Okay, now I've got the first one started. I'm going to come in between with this second one. I'm going to bring it right down, and you got to be cautious here to get started that you want to keep this knot, or that first knot, right tight against this mesh board. All right, I'm going to make a simple loop. Slow motion, make that loop. I'm going to come in, go in between, just get in between. You want a little quick snap tie.
Lower it down. Yeah, that's right, because it looks good.
All right.
The blue.
Now, I'm going to come in, I'm going to tie a second knot to make sure that these things don't slip. Right below that first one, I tie a second one. All right, I'm at the point now, as we were talking earlier, about the importance of keeping your first and your last mesh pretty close. Also, you got to keep a count. Remember I mentioned when I first started that we were going to tie 41, and when I made my tie-in, that was going to be number 42. All right, so I'm going to count these: 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got to tie 3 more. Same thing. Glenda, your dad used to do. Oh, he doesn't have the thing on you yet. I need 41, so I'm going to come in. See how I keep this apart. I'm going to come in. See, I'm coming in between. Little quick snap tie. Second knot. Ensure that it doesn't slip and slide. All right, that's number 39. All right, I have gotten this net down to a point now where we have to put widenings in. You have to put widenings in a handmade net. If you don't, you'd end up with a sock. If you continue this without putting widenings in it, you would just end up with nothing. It'd just be a round circle, big long, like a sock, like an air sock. So what I'm going to do, this net's ready for the widenings. I'm going to continue on with my new knot. Come around the little finger, make my loop, come in, pick up my mesh. Now, after I tie one, I'm going to put my first widening in. When I say widening, you'll see what it does. You're adding an extra mesh. So, right now there's 42 meshes around this net. When this row is completed, you can add 14 to that. So that'd be what, Glenda? Be your
42 and 14?
Yep.
42, 56.
Be 56. Now, very important here. Can you see in between? You got that, Joe, real good? I'm coming in between the mesh that I just tied and the next one that I would pick up. I'm gonna come in between them. Come in like this, and you don't pull down on that. You leave it just like that. You leave it just snug. Can you see how just is snug? Now we've got the net. As you can see, you're going to have any problem seeing what I'm doing here now. See that row? Those widenings? Can you pick that up good, Joe? You see them, they're right in line with one another. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 5th widening row. Now, it's important that you see this because what we're doing, I want you to be able to see that when you put them in, I've got to tie a few knots before we get where the next one will go. So I'll go ahead and tie those. Okay, I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna go right underneath it. Right underneath it. And put the widening in it.